Good morning. We're visiting the Hungarian embassy in Bucharest, and we are honored to have the interview with His Excellency the Ambassador of Hungary in Romania. Thank you very much for accepting this interview. I would like to touch a little bit the economical dimension between our countries and to ask you as a general perspective, how do you estimate the economical dimension, the trade between Romania and Hungary at this time?
First and foremost, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to reach your audience, and I wish you good luck for this venture. I appreciate it very much. As for the economic relations concerned between Hungary and Romania, I'm very, very optimistic. Because the global crisis has had very important consequences in the good sense. I'm not saying I'm happy. I'm not saying I'm happy with this crisis, but still there were some very, very positive consequences in relations between Hungary and Romania. First and foremost, we have rediscovered each other. So we understood that being neighbors and having economies not only very similar, but in some sense twin economies, we have to rely on each other. So I'm not saying the Western markets or the Asian markets or the Latin American markets and so on are not important, but we have many possibilities and potential in the region.
We are close?
Yes, Central European region. So many Hungarian entrepreneurs, big guys, the small and medium-sized enterprises, and even the smallest guys, the one-man show enterprises, have discovered, we have here Romania next door. We have to knock on this door. We have to get in, and we can find quite good business possibilities. First and foremost, we have very close historical links, and not only in Transylvania, in Moldova, in Bukovina, and even in Montania also. Second, we don't basically have a basic barrier because there are almost 2 million Hungarians speaking Romanian and many Romanians speaking Hungarian from Transylvania, but not only in Transylvania, in Baku, for example, or in Suceava. We can have so there are very advantageous conditions for the business for everyone. So despite the crisis, the trade between us and the investments between us have not been diminished. To the contrary, we could reach higher and higher levels of trade. We have more than 11,000 entrepreneurs working in Romania. We have bilateral trade bypassing 5 billion euros, and we have, of course, a very advantageous structure of the trade and investments. So we are not dealing only with raw materials or energy or something. No, we are dealing with good stuff, that are able to have nice positions on the market, and that's what matters.
What are the sectors that developed the most in the recent years between the two countries?
Pharmaceutical industry, IT, transport as such, the whole transport, machinery, and agriculture.
Touching transport issue, what is your position regarding Schengen?
This is very clear. We have been always with Romania in this thing. We think that Romania has fulfilled all the conditions to get into the Schengen area, and we have been always without any kind of condition. So absolutely 100% supportive for Romania's entry to the Schengen area. And I would say that this is even Hungarian national interest.
Why so?
First, because we are neighbors, and And if the border is open, it is very advantageous from the point of view of not only of the economy, but for the usual
citizens.
Ionescu, for him it's very important. It's no more problems on the border. And secondly, this is a Hungarian national interest because if this region, Central European region, and we consider Romania to be in Central Europe, not in Eastern Europe. In Central European region, there are no more differences between the so-called West and so-called Central or Eastern Europe that makes the whole economy and the whole society catching up and getting better. And third, of course, this is a Hungarian national interest because it helps the free movement of capital, people and everything between Hungarians from Transylvania and Hungarians from Hungary. But I don't think that this national type of interest is the most important thing. The most important thing is that no country must be a secondary one in the European Union. If Romania and Bulgaria have fulfilled conditions, that's the end of it. So no one has the right to put new conditions, to change the rules in time of the game and so on. So we have a very, very definite position, and we have had it always from the very beginning of the process.
All the countries, or most of the countries, had difficult times in recent years. In Romania, there were many measures that hurt the population. I want to ask your opinion about the measures took by the Hungarian government, and what are the lessons you learned from this, and if you can share for the Romanians some lessons that we can make use of.
I don't think I'm able to give some lessons or answers, but there is two things need to know. First, the austerity was necessary for a period of time because the structure of public spending in many countries, and not only in the eastern part of Europe, even in the West, Belgium, France, and everywhere, were first too high. The use of public money was not the best way to use that money, and then, of course, the overall competitiveness of the European economies has been lower. Those are several facts of the life. But there was a time, I think some 2 or 3 years ago, at least in Hungary, when we understood a little bit earlier than the other part of Europe that if we go on with the austerity measures, it will have the opposite effect. So it will not make any good anymore. To the contrary, it will create even worse conditions for getting out of the crisis. And the new Hungarian government that came to power 2.5, almost 3 years ago, yes, have decided to change the paradigm. And we have decided to put the burden not only on the population, not only on the social spending, not only on the public money cuts, but we told to the big guys of the economy, all right, you have been making big profits for a very pretty good period of time. It's time for you to have some practical consequences of the crisis. So that's why the Hungarian government decided to put special taxes on the banks, special taxes of the IT big corporations from the IT sector, from the big commercial corporations, and so on.
Did it work?
Yes, it's kind of working. Even though this is one of the reasons the Hungarian government is roughly and sometimes rudely criticized from Europe, because this thing of course goes against the interest of the big corporations from Europe, and they are reacting. I kind of understand that.
But how can you understand the double measurement? Because they impose, for example, in Cyprus, to cut the deposit of the populations.
Unfortunately, double measurements are, quote unquote, nature or part of life. The stronger guy, or the bigger guy, or the guy who thinks himself to be stronger or bigger, is trying to impose his conditions and trying to forget about their own problems. So this is, I don't like it, but still this is a part of life. As for Romania, I think that the austerity measures that were taken by the government were, of course, have had, of course, very heavy consequences on the population. But I think, this is my personal opinion, there was no other way. Had not been doing this, the government, the former government, Romania would be in a very, very bad situation. And thanks to those measures and thanks to the sacrifices made by the population, and I appreciate the Romanian population for this. Thanks to those sacrifices, Romania is having and will be having very nice or much better conditions to get out from the crisis, and most importantly, to have a higher competitiveness after the crisis, because each and every crisis will end someday. So yes, I understand, I appreciate very much the Romanians that took those sacrifices, the cuts and every other problems. But I think though that was kind of investment that works.
I want to touch a little bit also the political dimension between our two countries, because from time to time there are some problems that became bigger in media and with important emotions, important so on. I want to ask you if this kind of conflicts or problems that appear from time to time are rather between regular people or is between politicians. How do you perceive this?
As everybody knows, in Hungary and in Romania, that we have some very heavy historic burdens to deal with, and it takes time. But I think, and in this case also, I'm very, very optimistic. I think that we are dealing with it. So the situation is not that bad and not that dramatic. We have learned to respect each other. We have learned to live together, and most importantly, we have learned how to fight, how to argue with each other in a civilized and normal manner. And this is, I think, very important. Yes, from time to time we have different point of views. From time to time we are making declarations. Romania side makes declarations. From time to time we just don't understand each other because, for example, we think that using the secular flag is quite normal and quite normal thing, and I don't even understand why it has become such a big deal. For the Romanians, it's not that easy. It's a little bit more complicated. On the other side, if of course in a soccer game, some Romanian crazy guys or some Hungarian crazy guy puts banners. This is, had it been between, let's say, England and Scotland, nobody would care because they are just crazy and so on. But if it happens between us, it might become a big thing. So I think we have to learn to be a little bit more patient. And I mean, on we, I mean politicians, the media, and the people that are influencing the public opinion. And on the other hand, I have to say I'm a very often visitor to Romania. I have been a very often visitor to Romania for almost 40 years. and not only diplomat or journalist. I have been here as a student, as a tourist, as just a visitor. And I have to tell you that never ever I had the slightest incident or problem with the average Romanian. So I cannot tell you no occasion, no situation when I had any problem with Ionescu or Doamna Sababu. Nowhere. So I think there are three roots for our problems. First, history, we have to live with it. Not only you, we also have to live with it. The second, sometimes politicians are using the conflict potential, and dramatizing, and following the politicians' example. Media, of course, is doing the same. And the third thing yes, there are always something to be done. We have a long way to go, but I'm very optimistic that we are going to the right direction.
What are, in your opinion, the realistic objectives or goals still to be met in the future between Romania and Hungary? Regarding especially these sensitive issues.
I think everything is realistic. There are new generations to come. And for those new generations, some historical burdens would be not that important as it was for us or for my fathers and grandfathers. For the new generations, the so-called territorial dispute would be just what are you talking about? For the new generations that are living in conditions of freedom and free movement of inside Europe, or not only inside Europe, global free movement, the heritage of the dictatorships, the fascism and the communism, has been overdone. So we will not be needed to deal with all the problems that have no significance at all. On the other hand, of course, it would be nice, and this is one of my dreams, that I want to see much more Hungarians speaking Romanian and much more Romanians speaking Hungarian, just to get each other, get closer to each other, and to have much more understanding. And not only, not only in Transylvania. I want to see much more Hungarians learning Romanian, getting close to the Romanian culture, so because this is one of the heritage, bad heritage from the communism. We were closed out. We cannot get freely, and I think this is my first argument in favor of Schengen. If there is no close border between us anymore,
of any kind.
Yes, any kind, and I think one of the most important factors that are making our relationships better and better and better, tourism and relations, man-to-man relations. It matters much more than the diplomacy, politics, and even the media.
For many years, UDMR was part of the government in Romania, but not recently. Do you perceive this as a decrease of the means you have to follow up your objectives, or it doesn't matter so much?
Of course, my life as an ambassador would be easier when I have a Hungarian in the government and the operators. But this is, of course, those are the results of the elections that I cannot deny. I cannot, and I don't want to deny it. I would be happy if Hungarians would be once again on the government and the government structures. But this is up to Romania. This is a democratic country. There were democratic elections, and I have nothing to add. On the other hand, yes, I think, and I support the UDMR's proposal that let's make a system when it doesn't really matter are the Hungarians in the government or they are in the oppositions, because if it makes a kind of roller coaster on those things, why don't we do in Romania a system that as independent of the political changes and roller coasters. So I think in this field, Romania has a wide range of possible steps to have an institutional system for a little bit more minority rights. But those are, of course, internal affairs of Romania. But I would like to see that as an observer, as a friend of Romania.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I wish you once again good luck for this venture.
Thank you.